I get asked how I hold my iPhone camera so steady when I put these landscape pans into my YouTube videos. The answer is, I don't. This is not a video I took with a gimbal in the Grand Canyon. It is an iPhone panorama photo, panned across the scene in iMovie with the Ken Burns effect. With panorama photos, iMovie defaults the Ken Burns effect to pan across the entire photo with the cropping height the full frame vertical. As the clip is rendered, the pan frame moves smoothly and evenly across the width of the panorama, looking remarkably like a mechanical gimbal or dolly was used. Here's the alternative. The bad news is it's really hard to keep from rocking while panning. The good news is, in this scene there is motion, the waving grass, that would not be captured in a panorama photo. Just to be clear, this is the technique. We will use Ken Burns to smoothly pan across the photo. We can choose in post whether to pan left to right or vice versa. This technique is not limited to scenic vistas. This panorama was taken in a quaint Savannah, Georgia courtyard. The perspective distortion is a little more visible, but it still makes for a nice shot. The biggest issue can be motion. Anything that's moving in the frame will get blurred. Just in case you haven't used the Pano photo function in an iPhone before, here's how to do it. Select the camera app and scroll the photo function all the way to the right and stop at Pano. In the middle of the screen will be a preview of the current view and a guideline that you can use to keep the camera level while panning. Press the white shutter button and slowly pan across the scene, keeping the arrow on the line as close as possible. Don't worry if you wobble off a bit, the software will line everything up properly. When you get to the other end of your panning shot, press the shutter button again to end it. Press the preview in the lower left corner to look at the result. I find it helpful to rotate the camera into landscape orientation to see as much detail as possible. Okay, you're all set to import the Pano into iMovie. Connect your iPhone to your Mac, open your project or event, and click on the Import Media arrow. That will bring up a Finder type window where you can select your iPhone. Scroll through your photos until you find your panorama, select it, and click on Import Selected. The photo will show up in your media, where you can drag it onto the timeline where you want it. There it is. Preview the clip and you'll see iMovie defaults to panning across the entire panorama in full resolution. Note that if this is the first clip in the timeline, your project resolution will be set to 1080p. You don't have to settle for the default Ken Burns effect. You can modify it to whatever portion of the photo you wish to highlight. Note that since panoramas use the full resolution of the camera, you can pan and zoom within the image even with a 4K video with great detail. One caveat. If you're too close to a straight object in the panorama, it can look somewhat distorted. When taking the panorama, make sure you don't have anything in the foreground that could distort the perspective. That's all there is to it. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please click like and subscribe below or leave me a comment. Thanks for watching.